On Nate LeVine, short stick defensive midi for the SU men's lacrosse team. The Orange getting set to take on the top-ranked team in the country Saturday down on Long Island. It'll be Cuse and Cornell. Nate, thanks so much for coming on. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
We're doing well.
Good.
We're doing well. I guess let's start with, I say short stick defensive midi. For our listeners who maybe aren't lacrosse fans, can you describe your job? Because sometimes it can be a thankless job. What do you do for the team game in and game out?
Yeah, so it's basically the LSM position, but instead of having a pole, you have a short stick. You have to be knowing that you're most likely going to be getting dodged the most because they're trying to initiate offense with you. So just got to know your hands and play the best you can. But it's definitely tough, not an easy position, I'd say.
You're a guy that you're in your fourth year in the program, and we talk all the time this day and age with transfer portal and whatnot. Guys might not see the playing time they want initially, and then they bail and they go somewhere else, and they always think the grass is greener. What made you stay here for now in your fourth year and work your way up the depth chart to a point where you're a key component of this team now?
Yeah, when I first got here, my dad grew up in Manlius, so I just really liked the school in general. It was always a dream to come here. I'd always come to Syracuse to visit my grandmother and watch the games. And then even when I got here too, my first year, there was just such a sense of family within the team, and I really just attached myself to that, and I could have never seen myself leaving, playing or not.
Can you speak to how things have changed over the course of the last 4 years and how you've seen this team, grow and develop and, as the key players on this team have gotten older and more mature? I mean, I think we're starting to see the benefits of that, this year now. Can you talk about your 4-year journey, not just individually, but really as a team and how everything's kind of come along for you guys?
Yeah, I would say at the start my freshman year, obviously you don't want to have a 4-10 season. And from us seniors and some of the other younger guys on the team, you kind of saw what potentially not what we were doing wrong intentionally during that year, but just things that can be done better, like just building a better culture, making sure the locker room stays clean, you're cleaning up after yourselves after practice, and focusing on little things like that and then amplifying them throughout the 4 years. I think that's really helped us grow to where we are now. We're just a much more detail-oriented team and focus on the little things to get to larger things in the end.
And one of the differences with this team, it seems like, is that the defense has taken a step forward. You guys as a whole have been great. Jimmy McCool in net, but it's not just him, it's everybody else. What has been the biggest difference on that end of the field this year?
Yeah, I would just say all the guys were all really connected. I think Coach O just does a really good job of bringing us together and working with us on game plans and making sure everyone feels comfortable and knows what we're doing. The D guys I'd say it's the closest unit I've ever been a part of. We all love each other, and we're going to do anything for each other on the field and just do what's best.
We had Jimmy McCool on the show yesterday, and I would imagine, being on the defensive unit, knowing that you've got a guy behind you who is playing at such a high level, he's got, whatever he has, 50 saves or whatever it is in the last 3 games. Does that make your job easier? Does it change your job at all? Do you feel like maybe you take more chances knowing that, all right, if I get beat on this play, I've got a goalie behind me that's going to, pick up the slack? The fact he's playing so well, does that change anything for the guys in front of him?
Yeah, definitely. There's some shots potentially further out that you can give up. You don't necessarily need to play a guy as tight at 15 or down the alley. You're not as worried about him scoring just because, if Jimmy in net, he's saves me a couple times on shots going down or a shot on the crease, and he's made a good save. So it makes you feel that much better. And then when he makes those saves, it just gives the defense a whole lot of confidence and from that.
All right. Well, the defense is certainly going to be challenged on Saturday. I don't need to tell you that, but Cornell, not just the number 1 team in the country, but arguably the best offensive team in the country. What stands out to you as you get ready for this matchup with the Big Red? What stands out to you about that Cornell offense?
Yeah, well, elephant in the room. They have CJ Kirst. Definitely, he's a really good player. You have to pay attention to him and just make a good game plan on what you're going to do to try and stop them. But they also have a bunch of other really good players, a really good attack line, really good middies. So you just got to have a really focused week in practice, know the game plan, prepare, watch film, and do everything you can so you're prepared come Saturday to go against them. But we're excited for it. It's definitely going to be a good challenge for us.
Jimmy said yesterday that, as good as that offense is, that, this week of practice, and I'm sure you would agree, it's more about you guys, right? And focusing on what you need to do and not so much what the opponent does. What does that look like at practice, doing the little things? Can you kind of speak to that, I guess, as you get ready to take on the number one ranked team in the country? Have the guys been a little bit more laser focused this week at practice, or is it just kind of business as usual?
Yeah, I would say it's business as usual. We kind of mentality of it's the next game, so it's the biggest game, so you kind of try to treat every single game like you're playing the number one team in the country. But yeah, just with this week, just attention to detail on everything. Obviously, you'd say scout is just like the most important during those drills, but it's focusing on clearing, just the stick work drills, and everything you can put your 100% focus on, just do that.
Along those lines about this being business as usual, is there a little extra juice with this matchup? The fact that it's 1 versus 4, it's Central New York rivalry. May is right around the corner. It's a neutral site game. It almost feels like it's an NCAA tournament game to some degree. Is there a little extra juice with this matchup, or again, is it do you just look at it as, well, we've played a tough schedule. It's just the next tough opponent on that schedule?
Yeah, I would say it's the same kind of thing. The next opponent kind of a schedule or game, I should say. I know a lot of the Long Island guys are pretty juiced up just because it's kind of a homecoming for them, playing on one of their fields that they used to play on. But I'd say for the rest of the team, those guys included, it's just another game. Definitely get fired up for a big matchup like this. But yeah, business as usual, I'd say.
All right, Nate. Ultimately coming down to on Saturday?
I mean, it's going to be a battle regardless. Obviously, as a defense, you want to hold them to as low as possible, but sometimes you make mistakes and you got to deal with them and just go to the next play. But regardless, it's going to be a battle. We're going to have to fight, dive for any loose ball, man ball, and any ground ball, and just give everything we got.
All right, Nate. Well, this was a pleasure catching up with you here today. I really enjoyed talking with you. Best of luck on Saturday against Cornell. Best of luck the rest of the way. Go get them.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Nate LeVine joining us here on